It's taking forever. Come on, computer. Oh, come on. Come on.
Mustafa Alhadithi, this is a Break It Down show.
Now do it.
This is Mustafa Alhadithi, and we're on a Break It Down show.
Yes. Sorry, my back hurt myself. Let's start again. My back pinched on me. Okay, one more time. Here we go. Bam.
This is Mustafa Alhadithi, and we're on the Break It Down show.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. We're both pals with Johnny Walker. He called me up and said, you got to have Mustafa on the show to talk about Iraq. I'm always fascinated about what Iraq looks like today and where things are at. Anytime you evaluate a nation, there's going to be things that you want to say that are like, oh, this doesn't work and this is terrible and this is awful. What is good in Iraq today? Like when you talk to folks at home, when was the last time you were in Iraq? And then I guess let's start there. When was the last time you were in Iraq?
So I left the country back in January 2015.
Okay.
And I still, of course, I have family and friends back home and talk to them daily basis about how is the things going on in Iraq. Honestly, there is a lot of good stuff now that happening in Iraq. There is no terrorist attacks. There is no bombing. There is no much. You see weapons in the streets. That's a good thing. But there is a lot of bad stuff in Iraq at this moment, which is the government trying to send messages to the employees, the government employees, the retirees, that they don't have money for next month to give them out. So the economy, it's going really bad. There is a lot of things that there is money getting out of the country is going to the Iranians because Iran cannot sell their oil freely anymore.
Right.
So the whole Iraqi money is going to Iran by their people that they have in Iraq and getting sent to Iran, which is United States are really aware of. They're trying to attract every penny that going out of Iraq to Iranians.
Let me just pause this for a sec, because one thing I want to understand is if we were to have this conversation in 20 years, 200 years from now, there's always going to be a competition between Iran and Iraq. Always, right? I mean,
correct.
When has that not happened? What does a good collaboration look like between Iraq and Iran? Because I get that Iran is doing things to undermine Iraqi independence and Iraqi freedom, but what is a good balance between, and also let's not forget Saudi Arabia, right? Like the Saudis also, you guys compete, and how do we is it possible to balance that region, and would anybody believe it?
Of course. So let me make that clear. Between the people, like the Iranian people and Iraqi people, there's no problems. I have a lot of Iranian friends, especially here in the United States. I have a neighbor that he's from Iran. So people get along together. The problem is that the Iranian government, which is led by the Murshid Khamenei, they trying to take over Iraq. They trying to take over the money. They believe that the money and the oil does not belong to Iraq. It belongs to whoever is controlling it.
Right.
So you know what's going on in the Middle East. They took over Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Iraq. So the problem is the government. If what we hear now, if we go into war, the United States go into war, then they will take the whole regime out, and then they're going to bring the Shah son, the king.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think if we go by rules, if we go by respecting the borders, respecting the government, respecting the government itself, I don't think that we'll be ever having any problems. At this moment, there is, of course, a big mess that's going on.
Yeah. And then the same answer with the Saudis when you bring them in too. Like this can be calmed down. I mean, because the Saudis are going to compete with the Iraqis and the Iranians also.
With the Prince Mohammed, I think their point of view that going to change the whole Middle East, they go to a new Middle East. That's what they're calling it. So they got rid of their Islamic people that they were controlling. Like women now can drive, they can do whatever they wanted to do. Women can go out in the streets, have fun, go to parties. Before that, it wasn't like that. So I think Saudis, they're good at going to the free country, like any normal European or American state. So I think Saudis, it's easy to get along with, way better than Iranians, because they're not wanted to go invade Iraq. They don't want to take our oil. They don't want to take our money. So I think the relationship is easier to get better with Saudis than Iranians.
Okay.
All the neighbor countries like Turkey, Jordan, all these neighbor countries, they're easy to get along with.
When you talk about internally inside of Iraq, how are things going? How are folks getting along? I mean, the Kurds have their autonomous region, but that doesn't mean that they're getting along well politically, and the balance where you have to have one Shia, one Sunni, one Kurd, in the parliament, in presidential, vice presidential slots. So how is that balance working internally? Are the right people getting elected?
Kurds, they already have their government set. I don't know actually the Kurds what they think, but they live a way better life than the people in Baghdad, like more central and south of Iraq. They have their guards, their own guards, the Kurds guards. They call them the Iranian militias. They're trying to call them militias, but they're not militias. They get paid from the Ministry of Defense, the Iraqi Ministry of Defense. So they're not militias. They're just guards for their government. I think Kurds are really willing to make Iraq better. They're willing to help the government, but they don't trust it, because Iraqi government, they don't decide what they do. All orders comes from Iran. So there is kind of like where they step back, kind of like not to going into a full relationship with Baghdad, the government, because they don't trust it anymore. And that's the big issue, the trust that between not just Kurds, Sunnis and Shias, Muslims in general, Christians, all other religions. There is no trust between the government and those people.
When I was in Iraq, this was a long time ago now, but I got to talk to a lot of people, and even so we had this belief that it was sectarian violence. It was the Sunni and Shias were fighting, but really it was more political violence. At least that's what all the Iraqis told me. So when I was there, I was asking the Shia, who you would think would be on the side of Iran, and they were the first people to say there's too much Iranian influence here, right? So this kind of defies this whole sectarian thing. It was a lot more political infighting, and then Iran comes in. Can you help me understand why do Shia, who you would think would be on the side of Iran, why do the Shia in Iraq look at Iran and say, get out of our country? What is going on there, and why do even they want to resist it?
So, especially the Shias, there is a big history in the south of Iraq, this is where the majority of Shias lives at. Back in 2019, there was a big protest. All these protesters, they came from the south of Iraq, which is Shias. I hate to use that word, but this is what they call Shias. So the Shias actually protested against the government. They don't want Iranians to get involved in it. They try to make it looks like, hey, Shias, they love Iranians to be here. They want Iranians to help them. It's not like that. It's all lies. Shias are the ones that they were back in the 80s. They were in the Iraqi army. They're the ones who got in a war with the Iranians. The majority of the army is Shia. So they got into a fight for 8 years with Iranians. That means they don't like Iranians. They don't want them. The government and the Iranian allies that in Iraq, they try to make it sound like Shias, they love Iranians to be around them because Iranians, they helping them. They help them to fight ISIS and all kind of that stuff. But actually, Shias are the big majority of them. They don't like Iranians get involved in their country. They don't like them to get near to their properties. So that's actually a biggest lie that the Iraqi government trying to send out and saying the Shias, they love Iranians around them. Actually, Shias, they don't like that. They don't like that stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And yet, they're getting Iranian influenced Iraqis are getting elected. How is that happening?
So that's a big mess. So let's say I'm an Iraqi. I'm trying to go be a part of the elections to pick the right president, the right prime minister for the government. So it's better for our future and the future of Iraq, of course. So you go vote for whoever you wanted him to be the prime minister, and then let's say you, Pete, you got the most votes, and I want you to be my president, my prime minister. And then at the end, whoever wins, he's not going to be elected for the prime minister. He's not going to be the leader of Iraq. It goes back to Iranians and goes like, "Hey, this is what Iraqis elected. Yeah, we don't like this guy because he's not really good with us. He's not going to help us in the future." So it sends out to the group of like 10 of them. They decide whoever be the prime minister. So I'm glad you mentioned the elections because either if you want to vote or if you didn't vote, the Iranians is still going to elect whoever is going to be the prime minister, and especially Maliki, Nouri Maliki. He is the one that decides who's going to be the prime minister. So at the end, uh, whatever they wanted him to be the prime minister becomes the prime minister. So Iraqis got to the point where why we're going to elections because there's no point of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a big joke. It's like you going in the morning trying to vote, you go back home so happy that you elected whoever the better to be the prime minister for your future, and it turns out it's not the guy that he's got elected. It's whoever Nouri Maliki decides whoever be prime minister, and of course he needs to be elected by Iranians. And the funny part is that he needs to go to Iran and swear God that he is gonna be a good for the Iranian Republic, and he's gonna follow to whatever Khamenei, the Murshid, the big leader of Iranians, whatever he wants to do, he will do it, and he needs to go swear for that. And come on, like you're Iraqi prime minister, uh, so it's all a joke. Iraqis got to the point where like, hey, we're not going to elections anymore. Let it be. And then if you go protest against this, of course you're going to be getting killed. You're going to be kidnapped. And then we had it back in 2019, where 1,000 people got killed. 1,000. It's a big number, and we have 24,000 injuries because they protested against the government. So there is no point of going to elections anymore, and that's why we asking the U.S. government, as me, the other guys, that whoever in the United States, they're getting the chance to send out a message is like, hey, you went back, you went to 2003, you got the mission done, you got rid of Saddam Hussein. This is the operation called Iraqi Freedom. Yes, you got the mission done, and then but it's uncompleted because you got rid of Saddam. Now Iranians has got invaded Iraq and they control everything. So we asking the U.S. government in a very nice way, please help us out, finish your mission, and get rid of him. I'm not talking about like military getting involved. Not talking about spending a lot of money in it. We're just talking about like, hey, get rid of him, send him back to Iran, send him to an island that nobody wants to see because we don't want to see him anymore. And let the people elect whoever the right prime minister to lead us in the future.
That's a big ask, right? To ask us to come back and do something. How do we? One of the things that we did poorly here in America was we didn't know who to work with. We solved a lot of vendetta against that Iraqis had against Iraqis. We didn't pick our way through reliably. I hear you with the election thing, and I hear you, but let me back up. Iraq has, I don't know what, hundreds of political parties. How
400.
400.
Yeah.
and probably right now a new one just started, right? So
Yeah.
how do we create unity? I mean, obviously Iran has tremendous influence there, right? Otherwise we wouldn't be talking. How do we take those 400 parties and counting? How do we get some unity and some common direction? And then why is, I guess, why is Maliki still so powerful? He's not been prime minister for quite a long time. So how do we unite the Iraqis politically in a way that makes sense?
That's a good question, actually. I think Iraqis, 300 something of these parties, they're Iranian parties. I'm
Mhm.
saying Iranian parties because Iranians have a control of them. So technically, Iraqis, they're united. There's nothing wrong with Sunnis and Shias and Kurds getting along together. The problem is, of course, these Iranians that they put their hand on the elections and the parties. I think it's easy job to do, which is I don't know if I can say it, which is United States are really great on it. Is do just like Venezuela, get rid of him, just take him to custody and let the people actually see him in the court, get him punished because. They did a lot of bad stuff. They stole our money. They were sending money to Iran. They got involved in killing Iraqi people. So there's hundreds and hundreds of cases against those leaders. Once you get those leaders out, once you take them out of the government, everything is going to be settled. I think if Iranians now got in a war, which is I hope so, like I
Yeah.
would love to see Iranian regime changing to whoever the Iranians elect. Uh, Everything is going to get settled in Iraq because there is no more support coming from Iran. I think they will either go to a neighbor countries, they will go to Russia. I don't care where they go, but they will disappear because they don't have a power and a support from Iranians anymore. And then if we go to a real elections where the people of Iraq decides whoever became the prime minister, then it will make Iraq free again, and it will make Iraq great again.
When I was there for the elections that were maybe in 2010, and was Alawi that won, but
Yad
couldn't
Allah,
seat a
yes.
government. Yeah, and then so he couldn't seat a government for whatever reason, and so Maliki remained in power. Is that Mike? Is my timeline right? Is that how that happened?
So back, it was the battle between Alawi and Maliki.
Yeah.
They were fighting for the government. Alawi got elected with the most votes. He won the elections.
Right.
But the Iranians helped al-Maliki to get in power. They were like, "Oh, it's not about whoever get the most votes. It's whoever makes more allies in the parliament itself." So they got a more allies that were agreeing on al-Maliki. It took Alawi away from the scene, and they put the Maliki as a prime minister. It's not in the Iraqi constitution. It just a thing that they came up with so the Maliki can become the prime minister. They're not going with the rules of who controls Iraq. They're not going with the rules of the elections. It's trust me, it's a big mess. If I try and explain it, it will take me a days trying to explain what are they doing because they're not following the constitution.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The Constitution. Okay, so I want to go back to the voting thing. Trying to get the Iraqis in mass to move forward in a way that makes sense so that you guys are united in trying to get rid of Iranian influence. If so many Iraqis believe in this, how is Iran able to undermine the elections? Are the elections legitimate or are they not legitimate? I mean, I'm not talking about belief. I mean, the actual thing. Like, is there something that we can do to secure the elections to ensure that the will of the people is heard? And then again, let's understand that Alawi won the election, but wasn't able to put a government together, and so Maliki basically took over. Right. So how do we fix that problem?
Actually, so there's election rules. It needs to be changed. It needs to be edited. Actually, bring a group of people who ever know about these rules, put them all together in one room. It'd be like, hey, came out with that room, and then I want you to see. I want to see a rules set for the elections. Second, first, second, bring the UN to watch the elections, how the elections is going. Have like a UN, United States, whoever wants to watch it, to come up, because there's no trust. There is a big no trust between the people of Iraq and the government. So bring a
Right.
UN. Let the UN be watching the elections, and we'll come up with real elections. And whoever wins the elections became the leader of Iraq. And the others who didn't win, just watch what is he doing, and if he did any mistakes, put it in the media so people can see it. So we won't vote for him anymore. It's
I-
simple, just like that. It's any country on the planet would do this except
yeah.
Iraq.
Well, it's not simple. It's straightforward for sure, but these things are because I'm about to complicate it right now. How look, I sat in a room with the general, and there were the elections those elections were coming up, where Alawi won, and the local sheikhs and elders were battling internally on who would even be allowed to run, right, from whatever party. And so one of the guys got a bomb, not in his house, but in front of his house. And the Americans, we were worried. And we're like, hey, what's going on, General? And he's like, yeah, it is politics. If they wanted him dead, he would be dead.
Yeah,
And
it's simple like that.
yeah. And so when you say, hey, send the UN there, right? Now that means helmets, that means ammunition, that means guns, that means troops. Like all of a sudden this becomes a crazy thing. And I'm not saying it has to be that way, but how dangerous is Iraq today? Could you send UN election observers? Would they be safe if they were there, or would Iran just compel them to leave through violence and threat of violence?
I think Iran, they don't have the power to go after UN or to go after Americans, especially now these days.
Okay.
They can't do it. There's no way the Iranians can do it. Let's say if the government now watches what I'm doing and then asking US to go finish a mission, of course, I can't go back to Iraq now because I'm all over social media, uh, Congress House, everywhere, trying to find a solution for my people, for me actually, for my family, my kids. I can't go back there because I know if I go there, either if I'll get kidnapped, I'll disappear, or they kill me. They ended up,
Mhm.
if they were nice to me, they're probably gonna put me in jail for like 5, 6 years because I'm asking a foreign country to help my people.
Okay.
So I don't think Iranians will ever have the power now to do this anymore because now and they're in a bad situation because the troops are all over around Iranians now, so they can't do it. But I
Yeah.
think it's safe for them. I'm not asking to put boots on the ground, to have like the military, UN military be there. Let them put a suits on and then just watch them. We don't
Yeah.
want any military actions. We just want it to play it peacefully, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense, and I'm glad you're going through this with me because it is easy to say all we have to do is this, and this, but you know, we here in America, and this, we're kind of over the whole war thing and going places and influencing through force. It does appear that Iran is wobbling as a nation, and the Shah's son may come back. It's also true that the Shah's son, he's sort of the pretender to the throne right now. If someone else took over, is there a scenario where a another outcome happens? It's not the Shah that Iraq would be like, oh, thank goodness, it's not some mullah in charge of this whole thing. So does it have to be the Shah, I guess, to make Iran a good partner with Iraq?
Shah, they have. He's got a really good ideas. I never met with him honestly, but I met with the people that with him. They have really great ideas to build their country, to make it back free to where it used to be in the 70s and 60s. Iranians, they're good people. They're educated. They're smart. They're really good people. They deserve life. They deserve to be free of all this Islamic ideas that they're bringing. It's not even in the Holy Book. They're bringing some
Yeah,
ideas that we never heard of.
yeah,
So I think people of Iran, they deserve Shah's son. But for Iraq, I think it will be a way easier for Iraqi government and Iraqi people to deal with the Iranians because they will go by the book. They're not going to go bring in ideas where spiritual stuff that whatever the Murshid Khamenei actually believes he's doing it. Like he goes to some kind of mosque and he believes that he meets with, I don't know, whoever, the God or whatever that he meets with. And he
Mhm.
comes back 2 hours later and is like, hey, I talked to him and then he said, do this and this and this and this. Come on, we're in 2026. I don't
Yeah.
think those stuff even exist. Who you talk to? Aliens? Who gives you those messages? So
Yeah.
he makes the people believe that he's got a relationship between him and God, that he talks to God and God tells him do this and that, and then he goes and do it. And there's a lot of people believes in it. And they were like, oh yeah, he's got a great relationship with God. I wish I can talk to God and be like, hey God, like come on, like you bring in peace, why are you letting this guy leading? So some kind of like stuff that we would actually sit and laugh about, they believe in it, and then they come up with these crazy ideas
Yeah.
and disable the whole Middle East.
And you're not kidding about that. It's everybody watching. Like this is a real thing. So there's no judgment here, but this is how this works in Iraq when Ramadan starts, for example. In Iran, the Shia version of Ramadan, we don't know when it's going to start. Even though this is science, we know when the moon shows up, but until Iran says, until the Ayatollah says, "Hey, Ramadan begins on this day," because now it happens. Like that's how they run things. So there's and when I would say, but how does that work? We know the cycles of the moon. We understand them. It's not a surprise that at this time the moon's going to be right there and you can see it and start. And so there's a lot of this belief that God is in charge of things, and you have to surrender your will to God, and to include when Ramadan starts. So, how do you have a modern approach to this with science and everything else? If we can't agree on when the moon rises, uh, what are we doing?
So before 2003, uh, Saddam Hussein honestly was great on dealing with the religion.
Okay.
So uh, he let Sunni religious leaders, and he brings Shia leaders, and he put them in one room. And then he goes like, "Hey, deal on whenever day that you want the Ramadan to start, so we can put it on the media on the TV. Be like, hey, tomorrow is Ramadan or day after tomorrow. I don't care who agrees on who, but I want one day so all Iraqis can fast at the same time." Now what's happening is you see Sunnis, they fast today, Shi'is they fast the day after, or
Mm-hmm.
Shi'is they fast today, Sunnis they go day after.
Yeah,
Uh, I do respect all the religion. I'm not saying
of
that
course.
they're right or wrong. We do respect it, and we have to, because that's the way that they believe. But we talking about uniting Iraqis. We don't want people get to the point where like, hey, you're Sunni. Why you're not fasting today? Oh, because I'm Sunni. Because I'm Shia. You never hear this before 2003. Honestly, uh, I never knew if I was a Sunni or Shia until 2005 and six. I born in '89, so I was like 15 back in 2013, 2003. Sorry. And then I went to my dad. I was like, Dad, am I Sunni or Shia? And he started laughing. He was like, why are you asking this question? Because we don't practice at home. We don't practice religion. But I was just curious because people are asking me, and my friends, they were like, are you Sunni or Shia? So I was kind of like wondering, am I Sunni? Am I Shia?
Mm-hmm.
Which one is better? Which one is which? So I got the answer from my dad, but he was laughing about it because he doesn't believe in all this Sunni and Shiite stuff. So I think
Yeah.
Iraq needs a set of rules where uh, let the religious people stay in the mosque, do whatever religious stuff, and answer people questions about religion, and leave the government and politics to the whoever runs it, whoever good at it. And I think we'll get to the point where the religious people are happy, the people are non-religious, and everybody's happy because getting a religious people involved in the politics will make it a big mess. And we're in 2026, so I don't think those stuff exist anymore.
Yeah, you're making great points, man. If the people don't believe in their own elections, and apparently there's a lot of things, like you're not the only person that I've talked to about this, but yeah, it's hard. When you, what is your goal? I mean, obviously you'd like the U.S., you'd like to gently ask the U.S. to help. Okay, so let's say that happens. Is there a scenario where you go back? Do you want to run for office? What is what is in 10 years? What are we going to be saying about what Mustafa's doing for a living?
So I have my own business. I run my own small business. Let's put it that way. So money wise, I think I will say I'm happy with what I'm doing now. So in 10 years, on the politics side, I think if me myself, I belong to a party which is called Iraqi Glory Alliances. So this party is my goal, and the people with me that they are helping me to get this mission accomplished. Our goal is to have a right elections to be run in Iraq, and whoever wins wins. Me myself, I'm not asking to be in office. Even the people with me, even the other parties that I know, which is one of them that you know him. They're not asking for to be the prime ministers. They're not asking for presidents. We're asking for elections where people elect the right one. Let's say if they think I'm the right person to be in the office, then I will be more than happy to do it, and I think I will do it in the right way. If they elected Pete, or if they elected Johnny Walker, or whoever be elected to be the prime minister, they think that he's right, then we'll go and support him, of course, because this is the people decision, not foreign countries electing someone to be the prime minister. It's simple, just like that. Just like any other country, just like any other people wishes.
Yeah. Oh, the so many different directions to go on this, because it's this is not a simple problem. Donald Trump is very transactional, right? He wants to know what what the business proposition is, right? So I know that Iraqis are some of the world's best farmers in the world. What is the condition, do you know, of farmers in Iraq, and what is their main problem? We often, on the American side, will want to bring a problem and a solution. You don't have drip irrigation. Meanwhile, the farmers are growing tons of food, and if we get out of their way, they're usually better off. But what are the farmers saying, and how do we help those guys just grow more food? Because you guys can feed the whole Middle East if you're left alone to do it.
Thank you for that question. It reminded me of the farmers. So again, before the farmers and the vegetables, let's say in Iraq, it's all from Iraq, tomatoes, whatever. Now, if you're a farmer and this is your land, first of all, you don't have water to put in the farm because Iran cut the rivers that come in from Iran to Iraq. Turkey, they have put restriction where they don't send us enough water. This is just because the government are weak. They have no power to go to Iran or Turkey to have sit down with them and be like, hey, why the water it's just like this and that. Now they had a deal where they giving them oil so Turkey can send water. We have more than 14, 15 rivers coming from Iran. They completely cut. We don't see that anymore. So we had farmers to leave their land, and they go and live in the city now. Everything it gets. Let's say if you wanted to get tomatoes, Iranians are providing this, so we can go buy it from them, and then bring it to the country. So we won't do our own. One of the examples, you see farms getting burned down just because they try to do their land and then have vegetables, have the people needs. So technically, you can't really develop anything. You can run your own land. You can water it. You can have anything planting it, because Iranians, they don't want you to do this. Just like any factory. Let's say if we wanted to go build factory to have whatever, like plastic bags.
Yeah.
They don't let you do it because you have to buy it from Iran. You have to buy everything from Iran. So that dollar money goes to Iranians. And by the way, they don't buy it with the Iranian money. They don't buy it with the Iraqi money. Iranians want a dollar. They want to see American dollar go to the country because that's what they need. They don't let you have your own. They don't have let you have your own factory because the United States now, they're really great on stopping that dollar going to Iran, which is you see this in a daily basis. So it's not like before anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do. We actually just talked about this on the show the other day. Scott Bessent, our Secretary of Treasury, is like, I can see the money moving. We're going to stop it. We're not going to let Iran shunt money here, 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 here. And one of the reasons why Israel had to fight a war against several different countries is because Iran was funding it with our own money, amazingly enough. So, yeah, and we don't want to hear these things. We want to be mad at the Jews. Oh, the Jews, right? But the reality is that's what happened. And also, you have to explain. I got to slow down and say this too. Iran went to Sunni and Shia militia groups and funded them. So they're hiring young men, and it's not religious, everybody. This is more about a hatred of the Jews. And so wherever we can find the fighters, the Iranians, we're going to put this evil on the Israelis, not to win a religious war, but to win this war of this existential war. How did I do? Is that at all accurate, you think?
Yeah, of course. So Iran, they did a great job, honestly, on funding those terrorist groups around Middle East. Let's say in Iraq, we have a lot of them. Oh my God, if you go anywhere in Baghdad, you will see them. Now they're hiding because they're afraid of airstrikes, so you don't see them anymore. But before, they're everywhere. They funded the Iraqi militias, Iraqi terrorist groups, because they're terrorists. They put them on the terrorist list. So those terrorists, they got funded by Iranians. Lebanon, they got funded by Iranians. Syria before. So now Syria, they went back to their free country. Lebanon, they trying to get rid of them, which is they just killed their leader. Yemen now, they're not saying anything because they striked every leader in Yemen. They got rid of them. So we're just waiting on to get rid of the militias in Iraq and of course Iran now. So we're just waiting and watching when they're gonna airstrike, so can go back to live in a peace. Every person, every people, they deserve living in peace. We don't want war. We don't want to see war. We don't want to see weapons and let the new generation go to the point where they just wanted to fight. Like I talked to young people in Iraq, uh, and I was like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" Just like you asked me earlier, where do you see yourself in 10 years? So I'm asking them, it's like, "Hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" It's like 5 years. I don't think I will make it because all what they're thinking now is going to war, fight Israel, which is I never seen them going to Israel. It's like that's Israel, go, and then Israel will beat you up. But I don't see them going there. They just killing their own people. So actually, the young generation, they getting in their heads, they brainwash them to be like, hey, hate Israel, hate everyone with Israel, and let's go to war. So this is not what the people deserve. This is not what the new generation, the young people deserve. We all deserve living in peace and live our lives. So I think the big terrorist country on the planet is Iran at this moment. I'm not saying it because I hate them, which is I do. I hate Iran government, not the people.
Sure.
So if you cut the head of the snake, I don't think that we will ever have any group of terrorists. Now Al Qaeda, they said, hey, if Iran goes war with Israel, we're standing with the Iranians. So you see all the terrorist groups now, they're going to stand with Iran. So that means Iranians, they're good at their terrorist acts. And so I hope see airstrikes getting rid of these leaders because Iranians, they deserve a better life than what they're having now.
Yeah. No, that's great. They do deserve a better life than what they're having now. So if we get Iran reset, right, like the world gets a we'll just say the Shah's son comes out and he is now running Iran for however long he can manage that. How long before we start to see a change, a belief in the safety, security, and independence of these two countries? Like, how long do you think it? Because it's not going to be instantaneous. Because a lot of folks aren't going to feel that freedom for a long time, and if we have to teach people or compel them to vote again, that's not an easy job either. So, how long do you think it takes if Iran simply overthrows its current regime and gets the Shah's son in there?
So honestly, I'm from Iraq, and then I born in Iraq, and I raised in Iraq. So I know how the Iraqi people think. I think in the 24 hours, and I'm not lying, you remember this. In the 24 hours, you will see a big change in Iraq and a big change in Iran, because Iraqis, they love life. They just wanted to go to work, come back home, and have a great life. Uh, and there is one of the things that everybody thinks Iraqis, they're like Muslims, and then they practice Islam. Trust me, I know a lot of people, they drink alcohol every day.
Yeah,
They're just like normal people. We have
right.
used to have bars and nightclubs everywhere in Baghdad where people go have fun, but we're not like what Iran want us to be.
Yeah,
Uh, so, with all my respect to the religion, I think Iraqis, they think out of the box. They're not like what they trying to put them in the social media, where they follow the murshid and everything. So I think in the 24 hours, we don't see those militias in Iraq anymore, because they don't have a support. They don't have actually the environment to be in Iraq anymore, because people will go protest and kick them out of the country. They don't want them anymore.
yeah.
So I think in 24 hours, you will see a big changes in Iraq and Iran, and we will go back and live in a peace. I think 24 hours is enough, maybe less.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I mean, even any chance at that is a chance worth trying to figure out. Let's say we get you meeting with the boss. You're sitting in front of Donald Trump, and you're trying to make your clearest pitch to him. What what would you ask him to do? What would you say to him to inform him? I don't know. How would you use that time? Let's say it like that. How would you use the time if you were sitting in front of Donald Trump?
I think I will be giving him a straight message. It'd be like, hey, uh, because of 2003, that you guys got rid of Saddam Hussein, because 2003, we see Iranians controlling Iraq. Please go back and complete the mission. You need to. You got rid of Saddam Hussein. Now is the job is to get rid of Iranians. Please help us. And I think he's really great on making countries peace. He made a great job on making peace in the countries. He's trying to solve Ukraine and Russian war now, and so I think he's the man of the peace. So him getting rid of Iranians and kick him out of the country, it's an easy job for the United States. Trust me, because the United States, their strongest army on the planet. No one can mess with them. It's easy for Donald Trump to do it. I will say, Mr. President, please complete the mission. Help us, because we deserve a better life. And I think and I believe that he's got it, and he can do it quickly and peacefully. And he's on it. He's done a great job on making the other countries peaceful, ending wars everywhere.
You live in Texas. It's nice in Texas. It's nice here in California. How many how many Iraqis would go back to Iraq if we did this? Or is America just they're like, hey, this is my new home? I mean, I wouldn't blame anybody for not wanting to leave or not wanting to go back or not even believing, right? It's a different life there. It's not a bad life, but it's a different life. What do you think? Would we see a big movement of the Iraqi all around the world, all the Iraqis who don't live in Iraq anymore? You think there'd be a big return?
I'll be honest. I'll be one of the first to go back and live in Iraq, because this is where I born. Uh, there is 8 to 9 million Iraqis all over the world. I didn't talk to every single one of them, but I talked to a lot of them everywhere. They would love to go back to the country. This is where you're born. This is where you belong. Now our kids, it's not easy for them to go back because they born here. They living the life here. But there is a lots of people they would love to go back, or they have their second home back home. And I will be one of them. I would love to go back to Baghdad, walk around Baghdad, and have a nice food that we have back there. So, and meet my family, cousins, my grandma. She still lives there. So yeah, I would love to, and I will be one of the first to go back and live there. Honestly,
that's great. But is that just a Baghdadi thing, or do you think the folks from Tikrit and from Talafar, would those folks all go back as well?
I think Iraqis, they're so attached to their home and their homeland. So I think everywhere, yeah, like Tikrit, south, north, they would love to go back and go back to their homes and have their life. I talked to people all over Iraq. This is their idea. One of the things I will mention, that even if we live here, we're still building homes back home. We're still having a home back there because we know one day we will go back. So I know a lot of people, they have a home over here, just like I do, and then having a home back in Baghdad or wherever they're from as a secondary, because they're waiting for the moment to get rid of Iran regime so we can go back to our country.
Yeah, Iraq's nice, everybody. I mean, I enjoyed my time walking around and getting to know the Iraqi people. You know, granted there was a war going on, but in between the war, there was a lot of really happy things and beautiful people, wonderful food. It is an incredible place. I hope we can get this figured out. I hope by just Iran calming down and not funding so much evil in the area, you know, we'll be in a better spot. It does worry me. When I was there, I would talk to young men and I would try to assess how dangerous, you know, they might become, because maybe they get a job in the American camp, maybe not, maybe we can work with them on the outside, you know, because I was doing the spy thing. And a lot of the young men, and probably rightfully so, back in 04, 05, if I gave you a big old bag of money, what would you do? Like, how would you change your life? And they're like, this is impossible. And I'm like, I know, but just play along. And these guys couldn't dream. Mustafa, they had no future in their mind. They were locked in to this defeated mindset. They were from the wrong tribe. They couldn't leave. They didn't actually have any money. The best they could do is like, I would go to Syria. That's the best answer any of them could ever give. And most of the time, they just didn't have, I don't have an answer. I don't have a future. Do you think, are the young men in Iraq feeling in a similar way, where a lot of them just can't see a future, so they can't start to build one?
I'm talking to like family members. They have their kids like 16, 17, 18 years old. And I asked them exactly the same question. It's like, what do you want to do? And it takes him a minute trying to think about it, because he never thought about it. He never thought about what he wants to do in the future. He's like, oh, I just want to make a living. I just want to survive. I just want to. And I'm like, don't you have a goal? Don't you want to go to school? Don't you want to do this and that? Buy a nice car, this and that? Let's say if you want to buy a fancy car, you have to be one of the parliament members, because you can't afford buying this crazy money cars. It's not for everyone in Iraq. It's if you're in the government, if you have a party supporting you and giving you a business, then you can live a fancy life in Iraq. Not the normal people, not the middle class people. They can't do it. So Iraqis, it's not because I'm from Iraq. Iraqis, they love life. They love to have a nice life. They would love to go to have fun and go barbecuing, camping, do whatever. They can't do it anymore now, because they don't trust the government. They don't trust their own police. With all my respect to all the police officers, to the great army soldiers that we have, but you don't trust them. It's not because the police officer, it's not because the soldier that we have. It's because whoever make a decision. That's the trust issue that we have in. I'm big support of the police officers and Iraqi army. Let's say
Sure.
if you get into a fight, let's say if something happened, you go to your tribe. You don't call the police. Like you never call the police in Iraq, because this is the untrust that's happening, because they're all malicious party. Most of the officers, they've never been in the police academy. They just because they belong to this party, they're in control. You see military officers, they never completed military academy. They never went to it. Just because they belong to one of the militias, one of the terrorist groups that we're having. And let's say they go like, hey, what's your age? You're like 40. All right, you deserve to be a colonel, or you deserve to be a major. And then they became to the army. So I think this is one of the jobs that we as a party in Iraqi Glory Alliances, we put in our mission to go back to the military officers and let them pass one of the set that we have, the programs that we have. If they pass it, they're not corrupted, they're not belong to a foreign country, they're not involved in any killing of the civilians, then let them stay to be officers and have their job done. If not, then they need to go sent to the court and then deal with it. So the problem is not the army itself, is not the police itself, it's whoever they make this decision. You don't become the Minister of Internal Affairs, you don't become the Minister of Defense, unless you belong to one of these big parties that, of course, Iran controlling.
Yeah. It's I think about this, the challenges, everything that we try to do. You just said that 8 to 10 million Iraqis live abroad, right? That would explode the population of Iraq. I mean, that's 20% of the people don't live back at home, right? So even that number would be there. There's enough money, there's enough food, there's enough oil for everybody to have a good life. Heck, for Iraqis to as a group be wealthy. But we don't seem to have a path that can reliably lift up Iraqis' future, right? And so maybe there is something that America can do. I struggle to think about how we reliably do it. And I understand why you guys want to do it. And this is an old complaint now, the thing about young men not believing they have a future. And for people who don't understand Iraq at all, and I'm only a little bit ahead of you. If you're from Delaim and Jabouri, and the place where you go get a job is neither of those tribes, all the young men will say, well, I can't get a job there because it doesn't belong to my tribe, right? So the tribal thing also is a challenge for it's not down on tribes, but it's like, think about like in group and the out group. And so the tribes can make it very challenging for young men to think about what their future is. And so they become exploitable, right? And so I wonder about that. I also wonder about, just in general, the extremists within the Islamic movement who corrupt young men to get them to do these vile, evil acts. I don't know how we deal with that. It's such a crazy thing. And I'm so sorry that we weren't able to do a better, more complete job of getting Iran's influence out of Iraq. The thing about tomatoes and cucumbers, I heard farmers say that over and over and over again. Doesn't matter how much I grow, I won't make any money because Iran will send this stuff in and undermine. And so their ability to compete with you guys on the farming side was taking the life out of these farmers. And it's hard. Farming's hard everywhere, right? And the next generation doesn't want to farm. That's always been the thing.
Yeah.
So I just, it is a very complex problem. And I appreciate you talking about it with me and answering all my ridiculous questions, because I'm trying to communicate your guys' world in a way that we all can understand it here. And so thanks for going through that exercise with me. What do you love about America? You live here now. You've been here for a long time. What do you love about it?
To be honest, America, it's our second home now. And for our kids, it's, of course, their first home because this is where they're born. I have 3 kids. One of them, he doesn't even speak Arabic. he doesn't want to learn it because he thinks that he's an American. He thinks that he born here. He doesn't need to learn the language. That's just him, him being lazy. I think
Mhm.
America, everyone dreamed to live in it. To be honest,
Mhm.
free speech, easy to send out your kids to school. They get a great education. You can live in a great life. You can buy a house, have your own business. You can do whatever you want it to do. You just gotta follow the rules and do it.
Yeah.
So I think everyone dreamed to live in America. Me personally, I love being here. I love do what I'm doing. It's like where I live. It's a really great neighborhood. My neighbors, they're really friendly. They don't care where I'm from. They don't care what's my religion. They just care about me as a person.
Yeah.
So this is a really great life for everyone who wants to live as a human being to live in the United States. Uh, since you mentioned those 9 million Iraqis that they're out of the country, before we used to elect, we used to go to elections and elect whoever we wanted to elect. And they saw those 9 million people. They never voted for the people. Now they running the show. So they went to the parliament and they set a rules where they're not allowed to vote anymore. And this is one of the things that we're asking to be involved because even if you live in the United States or if you live in Europe or whatever, but you still have the right to decide whoever becomes prime minister. Since our votes are not with them, or we're not going to vote to those people, so they had a set of rules where we're not allowed to vote in Iraq, so they can run their show by themselves. Because let's say here, if I wanted to vote, no one is going to force me to vote for this person or that person. I
Yeah.
will vote freely, and of course, I'm not going to elect anyone who even visited Iran, not just dealing with Iran. I will vote for someone actually I believe that he's a good for Iraq future and my kids' future and everyone else. Uh, yeah, it's really complicated in Iraq. I hope the United States will do something about it, which is they already started. Let's say Nouri al-Maliki now he wants to do his third term and go back to be as a prime minister. Trump said there is no way he's going to go back there. So I think Iraq is now really having a view by Donald Trump, Mr. Donald Trump. They're really aware of what's going on in Iraq now. So I hope and I think soon they will do something to make Iraq great again. And I'm so confident that United States will do the better for the Iraqis, especially with Donald Trump being a president.
Man, I appreciate you taking the time to go through all this stuff. It's been fun talking to you about all this. It breaks my heart because it should be better, and I want us to be better. But I should also say that there are a lot of good things. And we're talking about a system that exists now, as before it was a lot worse with Saddam and his the way he ran things with his murderous heavy hand. It's frustrating, and I would love to see. I would love to see when I was there, people were worried about everybody they get flour and these kind of things from the state, flour, oil, these kind of things. But also there's supposed to be money from the oil that comes back. Is money from the oil, is it flowing out to the Iraqis yet, or is that still a thing that's being hoarded by the people in power?
Uh, so, uh, so we're talking about an oil country. We're talking about
Hmm.
a country that makes billions and billions of money, crazy money.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a poor country. If we were a poor country, we won't say anything. We'll deal with it, you know. But as Iraq, they have this crazy money now. The money is not going to the people. It's not going to the economy. It's not going to like build this here and there.
Mhm.
The prime minister Sudani just built 4 or 5 bridges in Baghdad. 2 of them fell down and killed people. So there's a corruption everywhere in the system in the government. Of course, the money can't be controlled by the Iraqi government. They don't have a power to control it. Iran decides who gets the money, where the money goes, and support who. Like Hezbollah in Lebanon, we used to send them money to support them. Iraq used to send them money. So it's the government needs to decide is either are you with United States or are you with the Iranians? You can't be with the Iranians and the United States at the same time. You can't make those ideas. And now, after 23 years, United States got to the point where these leaders of Iraq, they trying to show us that they are on our side, but at the same time they're with the Iranian side. So it's they got to decide which one is which. If you want to be with Iran, go with Iran, and of course, so at least we'll know what are you going to. They say death to United States, death to Israel, but at the same time, they having a great relationship with United States. Without United States, I think the Iraqi government, the leaders, the prime ministers, they can't do anything. They cannot do anything without the help of United States. So they got to decide which one is which. You know what I'm saying? You can't just play a role with you're nice to Iranians and nice to the Americans, so you can steal as much money that you can from the government and take it out of the country.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said all that, man. I appreciate that. Hopefully, you'll get that audience with Donald Trump. Hopefully, they'll focus some attention there. We often lose sight of things that I don't think it takes a whole lot, like you illustrated, for Iraq to be in a better spot. We can't fix everything. We can't fix it tomorrow, but if we apply some pressure and pay some attention, hopefully we can get some of that Iranian influence out of there for you. Anything else before we wrap it up? And thank you so much for coming on and making the time with me, Mustafa. I love it that we're getting a chance to chat about this. Want to chat more about Iraq so that we can all understand, like, this is the real thing. This is what people are going through. So thank you for coming on. What do you want to close with?
I really want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for having me on your show and letting me have the chance to show the American people what's going on in Iraq and what's happening. I would love to see peace everywhere. I would love to see everybody get along together. This is what we deserve. This is what the life should be. And I wanted to thank everyone who's watching us at this moment. Thank you for watching. And thank you, sir, for yourself. Appreciate it. Thank you.